Hey guys, I know 99% of you are probably asleep right now, and that's okay. So if you're watching the replay, thank you. I just wanted to come live while I finish the Brooks Houck interview, our interrogation, and while I started Nick's. So that's what we're going to do today. Let's see. As you guys know, my little man, this is his normal wake hours, so I'm sleeping funky hours these days, so I'm going live funky hours as well. Guys, I didn't mention it last time, but this is WDRB News. They put out these interrogation videos that we've been watching.
Take the guesswork out of meal prep.
I've been praying for a solution.
We absolutely have that solution.
Watch and shop the
Okay, let's finish this up.
Well, I wouldn't have to worry. Right. She might not give me no details or nothing, which is fine, but she would at least ease my concern. And that's the reason I called her over these other people, because I knew I'd get further with her.
And at some point, so you do talk to her, and as I understand it, at some point she came over to your house.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
She's been there a few times since then.
Right, but that particular day she came over to your house, was that before or after you talked to Sherry? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
No, that's fine.
I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I never watched these on normal speed.
I remember seeing her a bunch more this last little bit than I really ever had before, but I don't, as far as talking to Sherry at the gas station and then keeping everything secret, I had no idea, none.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know that Sherry was here at 3 o'clock thereabouts filing the report, the missing persons report. So that part I can kind of figure out, okay, so it was sometime before 3 o'clock that you talked to her at the gas stations. I'm thinking probably, closer to that time than farther away, not early in the morning, what have you. And then, of course, fast forward till they find the car at 5 o'clock out on the parkway, and the sergeant responds out there, and then he calls me, and then I come out and start investigating. And obviously, I call you to come and talk to me about the last time that you saw Crystal. So that kind of builds my timeline. Obviously, there's some gaps in there, understandably, but some of those gaps become really important. For instance, validating or invalidating the guy's statement about her being on 49 between 1 and 2. You see what I'm saying? The gaps in time become really important to me, because that's how I determine where my gaps in the investigation are and where I should focus my investigation. I've got guys out there that all I got to do is call them and say, hey, go check this out. But I have to have something for them to check out before I can call and tell them. A couple things that I want to get into. They're going to be somewhat personal, okay? And it's not intended to pry into your personal life. It's intended to pry into what's going on in Crystal's mind, okay? I'm trying to get a reference for her frame of mind for the past few days before she goes missing, so that I can rule out any possibility of intention to harm self or things of that nature. You understand? And I don't know that I can rule that out. But what do you think about it? Do you think that she has the potential to harm herself?
I don't know any of that. Crystal is not that kind of person. I don't believe at all. I don't feel that way at all.
Mm-hmm. So you don't think she had any suicidal tendencies?
No, sir.
Never tried it in the past?
No.
Never come close to ODing on drugs in the past?
No.
When she would go out, did she drink much?
The whole family drinks, but she drinks a little bit, not any.
To the point where somebody has to bring her home and drop her on the front stoop?
No, she ain't no drunk.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said sometimes she goes out.
They do drink and they need a driver, but they're not, what you're describing is like a sloppy drunk, just somebody got tore down. I mean,
right.
That's not an accurate picture of her.
Okay.
And she likes going out having a good time, but I mean, she's, I guess, I don't want to say like a maybe conservative person, but
sure.
Just a normal, typical
social drinker.
Yeah, normal, typical person likes to have a good time. I mean, that's it.
So if you had to guess, how often would you say she would go out?
She doesn't go out real often, not real often. I mean, she's got all her kids, and we've got Eli. I mean, we have a pretty busy lifestyle, and seems like we've always got kids here and there. So I mean, right. We don't have a whole lot of time to do that. We don't like to get babysitters all the time. Sometimes if her parents have a couple of the kids, or Keith might have a couple of, we might go out with. Always usually, with Eli, we don't usually seldom ever get a babysitter for him, and we take him with us. But other than that,
well, I guess the reason I'm confused about that is because you said it was not unusual for her to go out with the girls.
It's not unusual.
Yeah, so help me understand. You mean
but that's
once a month or once every other month, or I mean, how much time are we talking about here? Because my wife might have a girl night a couple times a year, but she might not be the typical wife either.
Yeah, probably about 2 times every 3 months, okay. Like once every 6 weeks or something like that.
Okay. So you said Eli generally does not go to a babysitter?
No, he doesn't. I don't want him at a baby, and I certainly don't want him at somebody's house that smokes. I just don't want. I'd rather just keep him right with me, and I'd rather if we're going out doing something, I'd rather just take him right along. Right along with
Well,
us.
so that kind of brings me to one of my questions that I had. We talked a little bit about the last time that we talked when we were at your house, and you kind of explained it. And I get the fact that she would tell the kids, hey, we got a babysitter for the night or for the evening. We're going to go out. I get that. You explained that the other kids kind of get jealous.
And
if you guys,
we don't want to hurt their feelings.
Sure.
Especially Kylie, the situation. She's always wanted any kid wants a father figure, and her life she's really struggled in that area, and her mother doesn't want her to think that she's pushing one of the children out and then the other one can go with us. I mean, that's normal. In my opinion,
sure. And I get why she might tell Keith that because Keith has 2 kids. She doesn't want him to.
How does he sit here so cool and calm after what's happened? I know he's innocent until proven guilty, but we all know. We all know.
And she's asking Crystal if she wants to go to Chuck E. Cheese, I think it was. Something to do with the kids. And she tells her the same thing. Well, we've got a sitter for the evening. It's our first time being kid free for a while, so we don't want to, we're kid free. We're going to enjoy ourselves.
Right.
Why would she lie to her about that?
I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Are her and Christina close?
Yeah, I mean, they've always been good friends. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Do they? I mean, close enough that they see each other on a regular basis every few days, or
no?
talk on the phone,
they talk on the phone, but I don't know if they see each other that often. But I think we were also supposed to maybe go to the zoo or something too. She's got a little girl that's really close to this born in the same month apart.
Is Eli?
Yeah, is Eli. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just curious to me. These are the things that make me wonder. And in any other situation, they might not amount to nothing. But
did you ever talk to the girl, Amanda?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
she says there was no plans for her to babysit.
All right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that Crystal hadn't planned for someone else to watch him. I don't know that. I mean, you know that because you and Crystal have them together. But I don't know that because I don't know you guys.
I don't know. Maybe sometimes she might use Crystal's home. I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that. Right. I do not know that.
Okay. But as far as you know, you all did not have plans for a babysitter.
No, no.
The plan was all along for you guys to go to the farm.
Yes.
Give me just a second. I'll get your phone.
I really like this detective too. Sorry about that. My house got a little loud for a second. But as I was saying, I really like this detective. And I like the way he keeps him focused, because if you didn't keep Brooks Houck focused, why, he'd be telling you what he done on the 3rd day of kindergarten. You know what I mean? I'm just skipping forward until the detective comes back in the room.
Okay, we put that number in?
Yeah, go right ahead. Do what you gotta do.
I don't know how to do it. I just have an Apple phone. So just,
I just want to put the number in, right?
Or check contacts or however you do it to see who it is, yeah.
1390. Just call it. Oh, Steve Lawson.
Okay, who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody works for me.
Remember, Steve Lawson is the 3rd arrest that they just made.
Hey, Steve. Hey, I can't hear you real good. I'm gonna let you speak up a little bit, okay?
Okay, sir.
Hey, I was wanting to know. Hey, I've got some things going on next week. I'm gonna need your help with it. Are you already booked up, or can you help me?
I haven't moved up yet. I'm still looking for a place. That's why I did get numbers from you.
All right. Well, I can write them all down and get them there for you. But I was actually talking about doing some more work with your little skid steer and so forth. Mine's still broke down.
Well, I said, get with me tomorrow. I'll come. I know you have a hard time hearing me because it's where I'm located at.
All right.
So just get in touch with me tomorrow and we'll see what we can do. But I just want to tell you, I'm sorry about everything that's going on in your life, brother. I got you in my prayers.
I said it is a very difficult and trying time, but I appreciate you you saying that. But hey, I need your help while I got you on the phone here. Do you remember the other night you called me really late, and I forgot what you asked me. Can you? I guess it wasn't on the phone. I might have been tired. I know it was pretty late at night. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I don't ask you for them numbers for a house.
Oh, for a rental house.
Yes, sir, I
And,
did.
and I forgot, what did I tell you?
You told me that you would call, what's her name, Katie or whatever, she handles all that.
Crystal.
Crystal, okay, I apologize.
Yeah.
And you said she handles all that, and that you would get back with me on it.
All right. Thank you so much, Nell.
Hey, if there's anything I can do, you give me a call.
Thank you. You have a good night now.
Yes, sir, God bless you.
Thank you.
So something just came on my mind. Remember Crystal Maupin, Maupin, however you say her last name, who is his now wife? Then she was Crystal Maupin. She was charged with taking down the signs for Crystal Rogers. I wonder, when in relation to this that happened. Because it seems like the Steve Lawson, that was the third arrest. So it seems like that was a planned phone call. That did not sound like a natural call. Like if you were in there getting interrogated, that you would call somebody and ask them. So I don't know. But I just wonder, because we know a lot of people helped with this.
Okay. So that begs a question in my mind.
All right.
If she's in the truck next to you when he called, why would you need to call her about getting numbers for rental?
Because being that late at night, we're headed to the house. I just wouldn't. She was not going to deal with stuff that late. I mean, I might even look at the phone to see who it was calling me. I'm sure I just answered it.
But he said you told him that you need to call her.
All right.
Why would you need to call her? I mean, that's an odd phrase for someone who's sitting next to you in the truck. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. But that's if that right there is what I told him. That right there is what I told him. We wasn't on the phone that long. But normally I would just she handles all that, and that's what I'll do. She's not going to want to mess with that kind of stuff that late. I'm sure I'll probably try to answer the phone really quickly, so that it wouldn't. A lot of times after I get moving, Eli goes to sleep. Sometimes he goes to sleep in the truck, sometimes he doesn't. So if you want to call me, you got his number and everything. If you want to call him, you can call him.
What do you think?
I'm shocked. I do not know.
I mean, you told me that she doesn't do drugs.
She's not on any kind of drugs that I'm aware of.
She drinks socially. Okay.
And mildly, yes, not any kind of.
Every 6-8 weeks, something like that, right? Has she ever had trouble with depression before?
Not really, not to my knowledge. I mean, there's always stress that's your highs and lows in people's life, but I wouldn't classify her as a stressful person or somebody that's deeply depressed.
Well, I know Keith Rogers, her ex-husband, or still current, but not together. I know that he has had a drug problem in the past. Was she with him during the time that he had the drug problem, or was that after?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. I think that he has fought that for some time, and I think that she was obviously definitely in the picture while that was going on. But I don't. To my knowledge, she didn't get wrapped up into any of that.
I guess the biggest problem that
Look
I
at
have
his
is
demeanor.
are not going to walk away from their purse and their cell phone in the car.
I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying? If she were going to walk to go find help or something, she would take her phone even if it was dead. She wouldn't. My wife wouldn't leave her purse anywhere for any reason. So I can't figure why she would walk away from the car and leave the purse there. When we took the bloodhounds up there, the lady commented that it was though she wasn't even there. I mean, they had her things that you provided us for scent, and they said it was as though she was not even there. I can't.
That's interesting. I never caught that the 2 times before that I watched this. So he said that when the lady brought the bloodhounds, that it was like Crystal was never there. So, and I think that's the going belief anyways. And that's probably why that they had planted her car with her things in it on the Bluegrass Parkway. So whatever happened didn't happen there.
I can't explain that. I don't understand what that means. I don't know why. If it's her car and she leaves it and it's sometime Friday night, why does it appear to the dogs that she's not even there?
I agree with you.
This same set of bloodhounds tracked her in the car from 49, and they had never been to your mom's farm before. Tracked her scent all the way down 49, turned on Balltown Road, and turned on Pasco Ballard as though they were following your car. So I know the dog's not defective.
That's right.
They're following her scent. And they don't know where your mom is. They've never been there before. So the dog's nose is not defective. So when the dog doesn't even try to find her on the parkway where her car ends up, it's just very odd to me. And I can't figure out why they wouldn't find any scent of her at all if she walked one way or another.
They would have picked it up.
Right, they would have at least walked far enough for her to have been picked up by somebody. You know, if you break down on the parkway, somebody's not gonna pull bumper to bumper with you, so you're gonna have to walk from your car to their car to get
That's
in.
right.
So the dog doesn't even act like it wants to go in one direction or another, even far enough for her to have even gotten in a car with somebody. That's just weird. I don't understand. Unless she was never in her car when he got put on the car.
Hey, 4Q, how are
I
you?
can't answer that. I do not know.
Do you know of anybody that would want to hurt her?
I mean, as far as I know, she.
I decided to come on live while I was finishing up the Brooks Houck interview, and then I was going to start on Nick's, and I figured everybody is in bed, but you're on a bit of a time difference, so I figured you might stop through, but it's really good to see you.
Oh, she's a well-likable person.
Right.
I know that she's done a few evictions with some folks, got a few people upset, but
Were they missing evictions?
I mean,
Like threat?
there's never a good eviction.
Right, but I mean, some of
I
those
mean, it's just
outside.
normal business. But I can't think of anybody. She's a likable person. I can't think of anybody who would want to harm her.
Ever have anybody show up at the house upset over something? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Coming down when it's not appropriate for them to be coming to their landlord's house. Ever have them show up at your house?
I'm good. I don't know if he was in here when he was talking about the bloodhounds, but so when Crystal's car, it was found on the parkway with her purse and keys and things inside of it, right? Hey, Rebel City, how are you? So they found her car with her things in it on the side of the parkway. When the lady with the bloodhounds came, the bloodhounds didn't act like Crystal had ever been there. So it was a big indication to investigators that her car and her things were planted on the Bluegrass Parkway. So I had always missed that before, and I found that very interesting.
Your house beating on the door, hey, you threw me out or whatever.
I've never had somebody come up there to the house over eviction saying you threw me out. Not one time. Now, several of the tenants do come to our house. Some people don't just mail a money order check. Sometimes people stop by there and drop it off.
Sure.
And, you know, she can write them a receipt that way or whatever. But as far as what you're saying about you evicted me and you threw me out and you're confronting her about it, never happened one time.
Is Kylie dead? Excuse me. Kylie dead? He doesn't have anything to do with her?
Very little. I don't even know. I think he lives a bar piece from here. I'm not really sure.
So I thought they said their dad's name was John Fenwick. Is that correct?
No, that's not right.
That's not right. Okay.
I think it's Jesse. John Fenwick is one of the owners of Bluegrass Seed.
Right.
Yeah, that's not her.
Okay.
That's not
So
her.
Jesse Fenwick.
I believe. And that might not
Somebody doesn't live around your club.
Yeah, it's a bar piece.
Is it now? But obviously, his mom lives on Sun Road.
Yes.
So he's a member of that Fenwick family that's from around here.
I don't know how many sets of Fenwicks there are, but I know there's
As far as I know, there's only two. Now, I don't know which one he would belong to, and there may be more than that I'm not aware of it.
Right.
So, do you know, is she related to the Fenwicks that own the Bluegrass Seed?
I do not. I don't think she is, but I do not know. I don't do family trees and all. I don't do all that.
I didn't know since you do business, if you've done business with them, it could come up with. And then Ashley is the daughter that her mom and dad raised.
Yes, and her last name is Johnson. I couldn't tell you that the other night because I was so stressed out, but her last name is Johnson, and I do not know her.
I cannot stop thinking about how this man is sitting there, looks like he's living his best life after God knows what he's done. And, like I said earlier, I wonder in relation to this time, when was it that his now wife was down stealing the signs of Crystal's Rogers, I think her name's Crystal Maupin. But, yeah, I wonder when she was taking down those signs, and I wonder what Steve Lawson was doing when he called him, because that man sounded really fishy. Just a lot of questions. I hope a lot of that comes out at trial.
Oh, her dad's first name, I just know that he stays incarcerated quite a bit. He'll get out from time to time, but he'll only make it about a week, and they find a reason to lock him back up again, whether it be drugs or whatever it is.
Have you all ever had any trouble out of it?
I've never met the man. I know that was a pretty abusive relationship from what Crystal's told me, but I don't really know. I can't speak intelligently on it. It's been quite some time back, so I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't even know the guy's first name.
No custody issues with Keith?
I know that Tori has told her before that she gets mad if Tori gets mad if she's been corrected or something like that right there. She'll say, well, I'm going to my dad's house, or I'm going over here. They'll want to flip back or forth or whatever, split house.
Play one off the other.
Yeah, I know Tori does that, but I don't think they've ever really had any big issue on getting the kids. From what I can understand, it's been pretty good. I mean, if one of them wants them, or Keith wants them for a little bit, or the kids want to go over there, they just had kind of like a a mutual agreement with that's what they did. That's just what they did. I never really struggled with it, you know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I guess where I go from here, we're still getting video from different places, you know, along that route.
Can I get this?
Sure.
Hello? No. I'm up here. I know that you didn't know. I'm up here in this interview with the Detective Snow. I've been up here a good little while. I'm filling out this statement here and everything.
I haven't heard anything about the dig, so, but I'm extremely curious, but I'm afraid that they're going to probably keep that secret until December, January. I'd say after some of the court dates.
Are you telling me that's what I need to do? I know that. But the way that I look at it is, I'm innocent. I ain't done nothing wrong. Well, you know, I know you told me innocent people got jammed up. If you're telling me to leave, I'll get up and leave. If you want me to. I know I'm going through a lot, but I'm trying to get this guy to help me. I don't think she ran off with some other guy. I don't believe that. You can't make me think that. No. Yeah, so do I. I'll do exactly what you're telling me to do right now. You want me to get up and leave? But I don't think these people are vindictive just to skin me for no reason. Maybe this is not their family. This is not. All right, thank you. He thinks y'all will fuck is what he thinks.
I don't know who he is.
Nick, my brother. He just, no, I know it, but I'm not. He just said just to keep sitting up, just to give a statement, do an interview, whatever I got to do it. But he said, no, just to keep letting them just beat you to death over this right here. Just ask what you got to ask and let me know.
And you tell me.
You see, I mean, he knows more about this than I do. You see.
And have I told you that I'm for you?
Yes, you have.
I said, what did I say? My job is to find Crystal, right?
That's right.
However that happens, my job is to find her, whether I find her hopefully alive and well and safe somewhere or not. My job is to find her. If I don't find her alive and well, my job is to prosecute the person that did something.
I think he was trying to tip his brother off. I'm not sure, but
if that turns out to be someone else, my job is to prosecute them, to gather evidence for a lawyer, a prosecutor to prosecute them. I don't know whether that person will be you or not. Did I not tell you when you come in here and sit down today that right now you're the main person of interest?
Yes, that's right.
And I explained to you the reason that you're the main person of interest, right? You're the last person to see your life, right? And I went through your timeline with you and explained to you that there's gaps in your timeline, right? Be it good, bad, or indifferent, you can't remember some things about Saturday, you can't remember some things about Sunday. That's not a judgment against you. That's just a fact. I am simply a fact finder. If you want to go, you may go at any time you wish to. I would never dream of stopping you. Didn't tell you had to stay. If you want to bring a lawyer in and answer questions with a lawyer, you're welcome to do that. I've been asking you the very same questions in front of your lawyer that I asked you today. Right? I have not given up hope of finding her alive. That being said, you know as well as I do, the longer this draws out, the less likely we are to find her alive unless she's run off somewhere. I mean, that's just a fact.
That's right.
That's just the facts as they are. I am not for you. I am not against you. I am not for her family or against her family. Right now, my job is to work for Crystal. Plain and simple. It's just that simple. If that means that I have to interrogate you, then that's what I have to do. You've been nothing but cooperative with me. I appreciate that. We've talked. This makes third time.
I don't know. I can't.
3 times. Here, the first time. At your house, the second time. And here, the third time again. Not counting the polygraph because I didn't ask any questions then. You've not asked for a lawyer. You're right. That's your right to do. You're entitled to do that. If Nick thinks you should go and you want to take his advice, go ahead. It's fine. I'm not offended by that. My job is not to make you happy. My job is to find Crystal. If that makes you happy, awesome. You know, but make no mistake, my job is to find her. That's what I'm doing. If I offend people in the midst of that, well, I'll apologize later for offending people. If it finds her home safe, then I'll just take the blunt of offending people and go on. You know, just like what you said. What'd you say? Doesn't matter what they think of you, as long as we find her.
That's all right.
So that being said, you know, you're free to take Nick's advice if he wants you to leave. I don't really have any more questions with you. I was just going to tell you where we go next.
All right, yeah, well, wrap up and tell me what we're doing next. If it's over, maybe it's pass along.
So, yeah, you know, here's what I'm looking at, right? I'm trying to find video of her car getting on the parkway, whether it's New Eden Road or 150. Trying to find some video of her car getting on the parkway in hopes that it will reveal to us when it gets on the parkway, because there's some confusion about that. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Saturday. Some people calling in saying they saw it on Sunday morning. Some people calling in saying it wasn't there Saturday or Sunday morning. That's just the nature of the beast. When you put information out there, you get a lot of that. So I'm trying to figure out when it got on the parkway, and if I can, who was driving it when it got on the parkway. Maybe she was driving it, maybe she wasn't. Maybe somebody else was driving it. I don't know. You know, maybe somebody stole it and it got a flat tire, and they left it on the parkway. I have no idea. There's a million possibilities of that. So I'm trying to figure that out. I would like to fill in the gaps in your timeline. I may be able to do that with the video at your aunt and uncle's house, because they may be able to show me when you came and went from the farm on Saturday, those kind of things. I'm probably going to interview your mom. I'm probably going to interview Nick and ask them, if they were with you anytime during that time. Maybe they have a little better memory of it. They can fill in those gaps. I'm probably going to interview the employees that called you Friday and Saturday, or Friday evening and then Saturday, to interview them and ask them, when you called him, what did you talk about? How long did you talk? Mr. Stanley or whatever his name is, did he?
I have a teenager, I have a toddler, and then I have 5 dogs. So the puppers are probably the best out of them all. They allow me the most me time, of course. My teenager, she's super easy. She's such a great kid. My toddler, he's my 24-hour a day, 7-day a week. He's full time. He requires me a lot, but I done that. I spoiled him, and that's my fault. So now I'm, but I don't care. They're only babies once. They're only kids once, and I let them be babies and I let them be kids. And I spoil my babies because that's what they're here for. So, that's my fault that he needs me all the time, but I've made it that way. I'm a bit of a helicopter mom. Luckily, and he is very, very hands-on, and he's a great dad. So I'm not in it, it's not just me all the time, thank goodness. So I am fortunate in that aspect, because I know a few of my friends, they don't have some that are so hands-on. So.
Did he answer the phone? Did you all talk on Saturday morning? If you did, what did you talk about? Did you go see him? Those kinds of things to help me fill in your timeline, which gives me a better idea of whether or not you're involved in her disappearance. And that's what I do. So, and then once I've done as much as I feel like I can do, I'm going to move on to other things. I'll be honest. Beyond that, short of finding her somewhere, I've done about all the forensic countermeasures I can do. We've gone through the car with a fine-tooth comb. We fingerprinted the car. We've gone through her purse. We're going to start going through bank records. She did have an account. I know you told me you didn't know that she did or didn't. She did have an account of some sort. My understanding is, maybe from a family member, that there was some Social Security disability from Keith for the kids that maybe went into that account. Maybe that's the case. We'll kind of look into that. We'll start questioning people about the validity of those kinds of things, about the apartment and those kinds of things, and try to get a better idea if that's just a shady rumor or whatever. But unfortunately, I've got to dispel all these rumors. That's part of my job. We've got to either prove them, disprove them, or no, we can't do either. So that's where I'm at. So I appreciate you coming in. If I ask you to come in again, or if I come see you again, know that you're always welcome to tell me you don't want to talk to me anymore. That's perfectly okay. All right.
Are you completely on my phone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was that one. So I think the most interesting part of that whole interrogation was his phone call with Steve Lawson. Yeah, I gotta love mom's honesty, because she's gonna give it to you whether you want it or not. But the phone call with Steve Lawson, I'm gonna clip that and upload it to the channel so that I can watch it just alone later, because I think it's very telling and it was very staged. Now let's watch Nick's interview, because they interviewed Nick, the brother, as well. Here it is. Here, this is on July 15th. So they interviewed them quite quickly. Just a minute, baby.
The best part about Russell Stover sugar-free candies, it's the sweetness you crave, without all the sugar. No sugar, great taste, guaranteed.
I don't know what y'all talking about on the way over here.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, Brooks' brother, his brother Nick Houck has not been arrested yet. We do know that they did say in Brooks' arraignment that they bought a firearm off of Nick that they believe was used in the Tommy Ballard murder. They're waiting on tests to come back from it, but already it's met 2 of the 3 criteria to check out and be the actual weapon. So that's interesting. But yeah, he's not arrested yet. But I have a feeling it's coming.
Dominic's car, really.
Okay.
Yeah, he liked the breeze.
Did he?
It's actually John's car.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little dirty. I need to get into it, but it's been raining so much that it's hard to do anything with. So just want to make sure you understand you're not under arrest. Okay. I want to make sure that's.
Oh, I know that. Yeah, I know that.
Okay. And it's my understanding that you testified for grand jury this morning. Is that correct? Okay. And Mr. Grogan had made mention of that you'd be willing to come in and under oath, whatever that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. So you're still fine doing that. Okay. I guess let's just kind of start from the beginning. You don't know us, or I don't know you. You don't know me. So get your full name.
Nicholas Houck. Sorry, yes. TNT. Yeah, TNT.
Any other
Or
stuff?
Bluegrass. It's one or the other.
AT&T or Bluegrass.
I just changed it about maybe a month ago.
What's your birth?
12/18/1979.
All right. You reside there at 99 Olympia Drive with anybody else?
My girlfriend,
What's her name?
Amber Bowman.
Do you know her date of birth right off?
She's born in '84. It's April the 11th.
Okay. All right. How long y'all live there?
We've only been there for 2 or 3 weeks. And we just moved from 104 Glenview Drive in Bardstown.
104 Glenwood, you said?
Glenview.
Glenview. Okay. I guess it's just kind of start from the beginning. You know what you're talking to us about, right?
Sure.
Okay. What is that?
Crystal Rogers.
Okay. How do you know Crystal Rogers?
She's my brother's girlfriend.
Okay. And how long have you known her? How long have they been? I'm assuming. Did you know her before they started dating?
No, I didn't.
So how long have they been dating?
I'm 2 or 3 years maybe.
So 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have a child together. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What's his name?
Eli.
How's Eli?
About 2.5.
Okay. Do they reside together or they?
Yeah, they reside together.
Okay. What's their address?
113 or 116 Glenview.
So y'all live pretty close when you were at that house.
Mm-hmm.
Your brother's name is Brooks, is that right?
Yeah, Brooks Houck.
How much interaction did you have with Crystal over the years?
Almost none.
Okay. I mean, did y'all, how often would you see your brother and her, or just her? Or?
I mean, I passed her on the street. That's about it. I mean, my brother's got a bunch of rental properties and stuff. I mean, I just don't see. I see him on the road. That's about it.
Okay.
He's so busy. We don't hang out much anymore.
Okay. Did y'all go to family functions together on Christmas, Thanksgiving? Or?
If we got time, we do. I mean, I've got about a dozen rental properties. We're full time PD, and also got family, and
Sure.
I mean, we're just busy guys.
Sure, I understand that completely. I think we can sympathize with that. Definitely. So, in the 2 to 3 years they've been dating, how many times have you been around?
I've only watched this once, but from what I can remember,
Half a dozen times or so.
I thought that
Could be more, could be less.
Dick was a pretty scary guy because he seemed to be
What do you know about
not really fooling him. I don't know how to explain it. He didn't seem as obvious as Brooks did.
You're getting at. I mean, they seem pretty happy to me. So
We all have, I've got a brother, and if he's something's wrong, he'll call him bitch. He'll call him, and you won't believe what this crazy woman did, or you won't believe this, or you won't believe that. I mean, did he ever give you anything like that?
no, well, he didn't complain to me.
Okay. So how often would you see your brother? I know you said you pass him on the street, and that's about it. But how many times a year would you see your brother?
If I need a tool or something like that to borrow from him, I may see him, but I mean, I couldn't really put a number on it.
Okay.
I mean, I've been, I've had the rental properties now for 4 or 5 years. I've got most of the tools I need, but every once in a while he does have something, that I need, or vice versa.
So do you have a separate company established for your rental company? I know he's got a rental company property, is that correct? So is it, or 2 completely separate entities?
You don't do business with them.
Trust me, I understand that too. What's the name of your business?
It was House Properties, but it no longer exists. I dissolved it.
Okay.
In 2014.
So it's just kind of doing it on your own.
Yeah, I just decided I didn't need the LLC. I mean, just extra money for nothing when I saw it. I mean, I'm not expecting to get sued or anything, so.
Sure. And your brother, what's the name of his business?
House Rentals.
Okay. How many rental properties do you think he's got?
I'm going to guess between 80 and 100. And he builds full time also.
So is he a framer or is he
He's everything.
everything? So he's your all-purpose man then?
He is.
What does he do something more than, does he do one thing more than another? Like, does he frame more than anything else? Does he roof more than anything
I
else?
mean, he's just into all of it. I mean, he's into everything else whoever's out there. I mean, obviously he has, certain guys come in and do like plumbing and electric stuff like
Sure.
that that are licensed.
Sure.
But, I mean, he's in there, his hands dirty.
Okay. So is he building for himself or the rental company, or is he building?
No, usually he sells the houses he builds.
So he's a, what do they call that?
Landlord?
No, not slumlord, but, there's You built a spec house? Yeah. Spec house.
He's building houses $150,000 and up now.
Okay.
Custom homes.
Is everybody good with this on 1.5 speed?
So you saying it may be one, just a handful of times a year, it could be more than that, just depends on what your situation is. Okay. And did you, in the times that you did see Crystal, I mean, did you ever have any conversation with her? Or?
No, I mean, I never had any issues with Crystal, but I wasn't around her that much. I mean, she seemed like a pretty easy person to me.
Do you know any of her family?
No, I don't.
What about your nephew? Do you spend time with him, or?
I wish I could say yes. I mean, I don't really see him much.
Okay. Well, now, didn't your brother run for sheriff, I guess, last election? How did he have time to run a campaign?
I don't have any idea what he was thinking or anything. I guess he thought he was really good at building. He had a lot of success there. He thought he'd transition into the law enforcement, but I told him don't do it.
Yeah.
So,
How'd that turn out?
not good.
Politics is, police is one thing, politics is another.
Exactly.
So, I mean, why did he decide to run for sheriff? Did he ever say?
He never said. I guess he thought he could. I don't know if he planned on continue building and then also be sheriff. I don't know what he was thinking. But I tried to talk some sense into him, and I guess he went in one ear and out the other one. So.
Gotcha. If you would have won sheriff, you think you made you as chief deputy?
I wouldn't work for him.
You wouldn't work for him?
No, I mean, I'm happy with BD. No reason to leave.
How long have you been to PD?
I was with Lebanon for about a year and a half. I think I've been here for about 8.5, 9, something like that.
Okay. And what year did you come on in Lebanon?
2005.
You said you lived for a year and a half?
Mm-hmm.
What made you come here to Barstow?
It's just where I was from. More money, better benefits. I mean, I started out at $7.80 an hour, and then went to $15 an hour, whatever it was, when I started here. So
It's that's a double long.
yeah,
About double your salary.
Mm-hmm.
And any trouble since you've been in PD with anybody? Everybody get along pretty good?
Pretty for the most part. I mean, obviously, a bunch of officers with type A personalities. I mean, you're going to have a few conflicts.
Sure. You never had any conflict with anybody specifically or anything like that? What shift are you working right now?
First shift.
How long have you been on that shift?
Just changed it not too long. We went 12-hour shifts. It's probably been in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 months, maybe.
What were you on before that?
I was working 4 to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Who were the guys that you worked with on that shift?
Who worked out on that shift? Me, Jason Ellis was on that shift. See, Andrew was on third. Nathan Phillips, I believe, was on second. Michael Medley.
Take note of the name he said now. He said Jason Ellis was on shift. Remember, Jason Ellis is one of the Bardstown 3 that the special prosecutor believes that Crystal Rogers, Tommy Ballard, and Jason Ellis is all connected. So take note of that. Nick worked with him. They were officers together.
At some point or another,
Yeah.
But there was 5 or 6 of us on the shift, so.
When's the last time that you had seen Crystal?
I'm sure sometime I seen her just driving around down the road, but I don't really remember where I was at or. So.
You knew her enough to know her car, but know where her car was?
Oh yeah,
What kind of car she driving?
a maroon Impala.
We'll watch his polygraph results after this.
Your brother at the Glenview address?
She did.
And was she way back when she saw you?
Oh yeah, she saw me. She, I mean, she probably recognized me in the truck. I was out in the cruiser, and usually she'd see me.
So how often would you see her out on the road? I mean, was it obviously more often than you saw a person, but
Probably maybe 2 or 3 times a week.
okay. So last time you remember seeing her, she was in a car driving around.
That's what I'm assuming. I'm not 100%, but I'm almost certain.
The last time that you actually were physically in the same room with her, when was that?
It's been a long time ago. I don't really remember.
We were talking Christmas, Thanksgiving, before that, after that?
Could have been Christmas, Thanksgiving.
Did she talk about anything specific, anybody specific?
I don't remember that. I can't even remember what I did 2 days ago.
How convenient that he can't remember
Did
anything.
your brother and her seem happy?
For the most part, they did.
Okay. I mean, for the most part, you said, what about?
Well, there's one example I can think of. There's been times when Brooks said that, I think sometimes she complained that, maybe he could get something better than her kids or something like that, but that's about the only thing that stands out.
But nothing that like was seriously straining the relationship. Just all. Okay, so you said the last time you saw her was within the last
Probably within the last couple weeks, maybe.
couple of weeks. Did she have a job?
I think at one time she worked at the fast food mart on Woodville Road, but that's been some time ago.
Since then, I mean, you know where she's working at, or does she have a job?
I'm not even sure.
Did she help Brooks?
Hey, Callie Dom, how are you?
I don't know anything about that.
when you would get together, as just you and her and Brooks or a bigger part of the family, where would y'all get together at?
Yeah, I don't know that we ever really got together. I mean, obviously she's been over at Mom's house, and I've seen her out there, but I mean, that's been a while back.
Okay.
We really didn't get together.
Okay. Now,
Is your mom's house down, is it about y'all's family farm?
That's about it, go.
I think we went out there, or I went out there the other day. There's like a black barn kind of thing.
It's called the Skid House.
Skid House, okay. Was there a sawmill in there one time? I saw the saw cedar.
For a man who allegedly helped his brother with a murder, I'm telling you what, he sure does distance himself from his family a lot, doesn't he? He doesn't remember anything. He doesn't speak to Crystal. They don't talk about stuff like that. He knows nothing.
Yeah, my grandfather, he did. He ran a sawmill.
I saw the saw cedar. I said, there's got to be a portable mill here somewhere. Yeah. So,
my grandfather, he died when I was like maybe 6 or 7. So I mean, it's been a long time. Yeah, that's been a long time.
yeah, that in this case, I just know one person that I love cedar.
So you don't remember the last time that you'd seen Crystal. How about, when did you find out Crystal was missing? When do you remember finding out?
Yeah, within a couple of days.
How did you find out?
Like, I don't know if I saw it on TV or. I really don't know. I mean, I don't know if Brooks had mentioned it, or I saw it on TV. It was all over Facebook and everything. It's everywhere. It's on national news.
I mean, this is for all intents and purposes your sister-in-law, and she's missing. I mean, do you and your brother just not talk to that extent that
that's kind of bad, isn't it?
I mean,
But he never called you and told you she was missing, or
No.
nobody else in your family called and told you that she was missing,
called and asked, have you seen her?
Yeah.
It was unusual for her to take off like that.
I know Brooks said she's taken off to their moms before, but I didn't know anything about that either. So
I mean, I know when you get baby mama drama, you try to stay out of it, but I mean, you would think if he was really concerned that he would, hey, my brother's a police officer, he knows what to do. Let me call him and see what's going on.
yeah, it's not like that.
Okay. So you don't know how you found out she was missing, whether it was from Facebook or TV or if he mentioned it.
No.
I mean,
I thought I saw people that watch it, talk to me about it. So like I said, it's ran together at this point.
sure. I mean, has he talked to you about it a lot, or
Very little, if anything. I mean,
what's he said?
I don't know if he said much anything. I mean, obviously, I'm not really gonna bring it up to him because I know him well. I know he's a good guy. That he wouldn't have anything to do with something like this. So I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and question him about it. I mean, I just feel like I know for sure that he had nothing to do with their disappearance or whatever. And I mean, that's just where I'm at.
Sure. But I mean, you kind of see the flip side of that coin too, don't you? That if he's really concerned about her coming home, he might be talking, man, we got to do something to find her. We got to do this. We got to do that.
Yeah.
But he's never mentioned anything like that to you. No. What's been the one thing he's mentioned to you the most during this whole thing?
Doesn't stand out.
So she goes, and I'm kind of working third party here, so forgive me, and you may have a better idea on the timeline. Friday night the 3rd, I think, was the last time that anybody said they saw her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where was that at?
I think somebody said it was Walmart.
Okay. So obviously she gets reported missing on the 5th, is that right?
Yes.
I wonder if that's a tip that Brooks had called in saying that she was at Walmart, or somebody really thought they had seen her there.
Yeah. So that's when she gets reported missing. And he never called you for any advice on what to do?
No.
Okay. Would that be unusual?
I don't think so.
Did he ever call you after he reported her missing?
I'm sure at some point he's called. I mean, I don't really remember what he asked about, but
Okay.
Was that before? Do you remember when he was interviewed?
oh yeah,
When was that?
a few days after the fact. I mean,
Like a few days after what?
a few days after everything came out, the SO started interviewing.
Did you make a phone call to him when the SO was interviewing him?
Yes, I did.
Matter of fact, I think it was a couple phone calls, wasn't it?
Mhm.
And kind of got a little spat on the phone, or it seemed like that to some people. What did you call
Well,
it?
just basically, I mean, Brooks is a really cooperative guy, and obviously at this point you want to be cooperative, but you also want to protect yourself. And I think at a time like this right here, I mean, obviously you wouldn't be thinking exactly straight. So I just wanted to make sure that he was kind of, protecting himself while he cooperated with law enforcement. And so I didn't want him to. I mean, it's just easy to get things confused and stuff, and so.
Well, I mean, you said yourself he's a cooperative guy, and you trust him to know that he's not involved in this. What reservations would you have about him talking?
Well, for one, the guy that's interviewing has openly admitted that he lies in court.
Okay.
So I mean, that kind of bothered me a little bit that John was doing it, but that's just the way it is. I mean.
You know what? We can't pick and choose what calls we get.
Definitely.
What do you think about your brother? He took a polygraph, didn't he?
Mhm.
What do you think about that result
I
of the polygraph?
don't think they would pass him no matter what. I mean, I think he went up there and did well, and I think that's just what they said. I mean.
Well, why would you say that it wouldn't matter?
Yeah, it just seems like it doesn't matter what he does or says. Everybody's kind of like pointing the finger at him. I mean, that would be natural, but I mean, it's just at this point.
Oh yes, Nick. Everybody's picking on poor Brooks. Poor little Brooks.
And that's one of the things we did. We called objective believers because I don't know what experience you had with them.
None. I mean,
We use them all the time, and I put them up against any of them in the country. I mean, they're that good.
And they work for the state police. They don't work for me. They don't work for you guys here. They don't work for the sheriff's department. They don't have any interest in these cases except to run the polygraph. That's all that their interest is.
But just some feedback from them, and it is what it is. It was inconclusive. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never even heard of one being inconclusive like that.
Yeah,
But again, I don't know nothing about them, so really that surprised me.
Sure. Well, me and both can tell you we learned a lot more about the polygraph in the last 4 or 5 years than we ever thought we would.
So you talked to him on that day that he was having an interview, or you called him.
I think I called him once. I think the task force guy said his phone, and then at some point, I guess I gave him the phone back, and I got hold of him. But he'd been up for several hours, and it wasn't like I just interrupted right from the very beginning. I thought, what the hell are they doing? I'm asking the same questions over and over. How these guys doing?
How did you know he'd been up here for several hours?
I guess I think he called me.
Okay, so he called you before and said, "Hey, I'm going to the PD. I'm getting ready to get
Yeah,
you." And what did you tell him at that point?
I said, "We're be cooperative, say what you mean and mean what you say, and just do the best you can."
And what did you say to him after what you said he'd been here for a couple of hours? What was?
I just asked him. I said, "What the hell's going on up there?" Asking the same questions over and over, trying to trip you up. What's the deal? And he said he was giving a detailed statement or whatever. I said, "Well, that's fine. Just at a time like this, things are spending. Just you got to protect yourself while you cooperate. Just kind of."
Did you ever tell him to leave?
No, I didn't tell him to leave either.
Did you ever tell him to seek legal counsel before talking to the police again?
No.
So you didn't tell him you need to get out of there, or press these folks up here?
No, I said go ahead and finish your narrative, whatever it is, your written statement that you're giving them, but just just watch what you're doing. Be sure you're thinking clearly and cooperate along with it.
I mean, I guess the conundrum I'm kind of having in my own head, because like I said, we're coming at this from the outside. We don't have a vested interest in it really one way or the other, because it's not our baby. But
Yeah, for Hugh, a lot of bad stuff happens at Walmart. I think over here, though, like I know in the U.S., I think anywhere a lot of people gather is where somebody who's wanting to do stupid stuff to hurt somebody is where they're going to go. They're drawn to the places where the most people are. And unfortunately, if there's a Walmart, there's going to be a lot of people there.
If he's to the point that you're worried about him thinking straight, don't you think he would be talking about it more to you or to your family members about, well, I wonder where she's at, I wonder what happened?
I think people deal with problems different ways. I mean, I can't psychoanalyze it.
Sure.
But just different people handle things different.
And is this typically how he handles a stressful situation? You've been brothers for 5 years now, so.
Yeah, I really haven't ran across a situation like this, I mean, I don't know anything compared to.
Well, I mean, say for example, he's got 3 rental properties that need this done. He's got 2 houses he's got to get put up, or something's got to get done that week. How does he handle that stress? I mean, does he just go forward? Does he crumble up like a piece of paper?
He's got 100,000. What do you think? He goes forward.
Yeah. Okay. And Katie bar the doors. We're getting this done. That's pretty much how he. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, I think he tries to do the best he can. If he can, he just goes on. I mean, obviously his stress level's gonna be up. With all the rental properties and everything. But I mean, he's been pretty successful. So
sure.
I'm not right there walking along with him, so I can't really testify to what he's actually doing from day to day.
Okay. So y'all have said you've been out to the farm, and do y'all go out there together to work, or do you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he does his thing, I do mine.
Okay.
First big lake out there with fish. Yeah, we got 4-wheelers. It was a place to go to and relax. And
how many acres is it?
250 to 300 maybe.
Been in the family for a long time, or?
Yeah. My grandfather, I don't know what year he bought it, but I mean, it would have had to have been probably 50s or 60s, something like that.
Wow. It's been in the family for a long time. So when, I know you said you got the skid house, is that what you called it?
No, I mean, he built skids for a living, so that's what they sort of meant.
Gotcha.
They just kind of adopted the name. And
okay. I mean, do each of you have your own area out there, or is it all his? Is it all?
I mean, we all use it. I mean, it's his place, his and mom's.
But I mean, do you have like is it just communal tools and tractors and things like that, or do you have like these are mixed tools, these are just tools?
No.
Okay. I didn't know how, some people have like their own individual sections of things.
How come he owns it with your mom?
I don't know that he owns it with mom. I don't know if it's. I thought it was in mom's name, but he's the one that bought. I don't get into that. I think it's in mom's name though.
So I mean, it's yours just as much as his, right?
But no, I mean, I think he paid for it. So I mean, really, it's in mom's name. He paid for it. It's kind of a messed up deal. But no,
if it's been the family since the 50s, how would he have paid for it? Did he buy?
He bought it. There's 12 or 13 brothers and sisters,
and
they sold the farm, and he bought it.
Okay. So he bought the rest of the family.
Yeah, he bought it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so when Grandpa passed, I guess, is that when that all happened, or was it before?
Oh no, Grandpa passed when I was like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Then my grandmother just died, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Okay. So when she passed, then that's when he bought out the other brothers and sisters.
So what?
I think so. So in Brooks Houck interview or interrogation, Nick called him and he seemed upset. So I think Nick coached Brooks, and I think that was apparent. But, with him being a cop and stuff, I'm sure he could have messed with evidence. I'm sure he knew more than the average person what to say or what to do and to help along with that. I'm sure of it. We already know that his family put listening devices in with the grand jury. So, I mean, they obviously are connected. So, they can't, ugh. Even the mother's involved, even the mother.
When was the last time I guess you and him were out there together?
We've been out there within the last couple of weeks, I mean, we run into each other out there, I mean, he takes stuff out there, he's got a pile of stuff out there that, from his building sites, he'll pile it up out there, so take it to the landfill, and I guess we're too tight to pay the landfill bill, but we run into each other, we're both so busy, we just kind of pass,
What you said within the last couple of weeks, would it have been before or after Crystal went missing?
I've seen him out there after.
After?
Yeah.
Was it, do you specifically remember what day?
I don't. There's a camera out there, I mean, it can be checked.
Do you drive your cruiser out there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it's not uncommon for you to drive it out there?
No, I use cruiser all the time, he wants us to use them all duty, that way it just kind of provides deterrence, and he loves that.
Yep, be seen, there's police everywhere. Yeah. That's a kind of the same mentality we have from our commissioner. So, I mean, when you drive the cruiser out there, what are you going out there to do? Just hang out, or
just ride 4-wheelers, hike.
So you're not going out there to hook a trailer or anything, like your cruiser, tow back in town? All right. So you said within the last couple of weeks, and it was, so we can specifically say in the last week. Today's the 15th, and she was last seen on the 3rd. So between the 3rd and 15th.
Yeah.
You've been out there with him. Did you go out there together? Did you meet him out there?
No, he just happened to be out there.
Okay. I mean, did you talk to your mom? Were you at her house? Did you go out fishing? Did you go out chow cattle? What did you do?
You 4-wheeler riding the cattle. I mean, I saw mom. I don't really remember what we talked about, but we just more or less passed off. So, I mean, I don't always stop.
I'm going to have to Google Donna Adelson. I don't think I'm familiar with that.
House.
When you talked about, you said there's cameras out there. What are you talking about?
Well, they said they're going right there, Patty and Lawrence's house. I mean, right as soon as you started passing Ballard Lane, the first house on the right, there's a camera on that house.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant on the farm.
No.
I guess, it's no secret that your cruiser was the chief asked you to bring it in.
Yeah. You didn't ask me to bring anything to my house.
Okay. What do you normally keep in your trunk? What's a normal duty setup like? I know ours looks like, evident store exploded in our trunk.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a cardboard box back there. I mean, it's got, say it's got a flashlight. So obviously, portable flashlights in the car. There's many forms. There's a PBT, fire extinguisher. There's a department issue shotgun in the car. There's a bag up front with all kinds of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in those cars.
You generally keep all that stuff in your trunk all the time.
Some of it's in the front, some of it's up front in the seat. All the forms I use every day would be up front. I've got something attached to the passenger seat, and it's got all the forms, actual report forms, all the stuff I use every day.
You take that car home with you. It's a take-home car.
Yeah.
Nobody else uses it unless something was to come up.
The only other person that's used that car is Tom Blair. It was issued to him first, and then it was passed down to me. But that's been a while back.
Yeah. How long's that been?
That's been a couple of years.
So you've been the only one that's driven it in the last couple of years?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have stop sticks or anything, stingers?
I don't know. I mean, that's some units do.
So what you keep in the trunk is a cardboard box with some extra stuff in it, fire extinguisher,
Hats, just rain jackets.
hats, rain jackets.
I mean, I can sit here and try to tell you every item. I probably come up with half of them.
When they took your car, when the PD took your car from your house, what was in the trunk then?
Well, it's this morning grand jury came up with just all the stuff I just told you. But there was also one of the things I remember was there was just a regular blanket for moving. Where I moved from 104 and you drive to where I'm at now, I took the blanket that was there and I just put it between furniture to keep it from marking up the furniture, the finish on it. So we went down the road and I just jingling around and
In the trunk of your cruiser? You have furniture in the trunk?
No, I didn't. No, what I did, I got the blanket at the farm. I used it, and then I was going to take it back in a few days. I forgot about it, so it's sitting there in the trunk, But no, I used my trailer and truck.
So instead of putting it in the truck, you put it in the trunk of the cruiser, though?
Yeah, I was going to return it back out there, so I just put it in the trunk, and then when I was out there, I was just going to return it. Where I found it.
Just not ever get around to it.
I didn't.
Where you said you got it from the farm? Where specifically did you get it from?
The skid house. There's several of them down there.
Where at specifically in the skid house?
And when you walk in the front door, right there, right inside.
The other blankets look just like that blanket?
Mm-hmm.
So it's it'd be easy to say, look, there's still 2 blankets here. That's the same blanket. That's what was there.
I think so.
Now were all those things in your trunk when they took the car, other than the blanket? So nothing was missing out of your trunk as far as your fire extinguisher was in there.
Everything was in there with the blanket.
Okay, so everything was in your trunk, just like you carry it when you go to work, except the blanket was in there with it.
Yeah.
So do you remember going out to the farm even July the 8th?
I don't, but I'm very easily getting out there.
That was incidentally the same night that your brother was, same night your brother was interviewed by police.
Yeah, Wednesday, July 8th. You said there was cameras out there on that house.
Mm-hmm.
What if the cameras would have caught your car following Brooks on the way out to the.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But you said generally, you would just go out to the farm and you would just meet him there. On this occasion, you all both.
Well, usually I don't meet him there. I mean, he's just out there doing his own thing, and I go out there and do my own thing. I mean,
if that's what happened that night, it would have been just perfect timing that you were following right behind him, and you just so happened to meet him.
I see what you're saying.
So think back. Was there a time that you all both went out there at the same time for a specific reason?
Not that I recall.
So it just would have been coincidence that your car was following right behind his truck, would have passed by that camera going to the farm.
Yeah, that's happened before.
So this night in particular,
We all know there's no coincidences in true crime. So they obviously had on video his truck following Brooks. Is that the way you all heard that?
it would have been, you would have left after dark. Y'all came together and you left after dark. Do you remember that night?
Easily could have.
Okay. I mean, do you remember it?
No, but I don't.
Do you remember, were you all in the skid house? Were you at your mom's talking?
No, I mean, I can't even remember what he was doing. I mean, that was the 8th to 15th. I don't.
I mean, do you remember being out there with him at the farm that day?
I think I remember seeing him out there.
Okay, so you didn't, you're saying you didn't intentionally follow him out there? And do you remember leaving together?
Mm-mm.
Why did he leave earlier or you leave earlier? Do you remember?
I don't have any idea.
Did you leave first or did he leave first?
I don't know.
But you remember, I mean, it's just been a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
Driving down Pascal Ballard, your car behind his truck. I mean, you got turned in the farm there. You remember? Can you go back and put that in your head, just driving down that road and you see your brother in front of you? What happened after that?
I can't.
Let's go back. You remember talking to your brother on the phone when he was up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
What did you do after you got off the phone with him?
I really don't know.
Do you smoke?
No.
Chew tobacco?
No.
Drink?
Nope. No.
Drink coffee?
Nope.
You don't think about it.
What's that? Not much.
Working all the time, like, I understand that completely. So it would possible that y'all were out at the farm together that night. You just don't remember.
You saying the 8th?
Yeah.
Could have been.
Did you work on the 8th? Last Wednesday. Do you work on Wednesdays?
What day did you take the car? Because I haven't been
It
to
was
one
on Thursday night.
I don't think if I was at the farm on Wednesday, I couldn't have worked.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So what days are you generally off?
Let's see. So like one week I'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Come back Monday. Work Tuesday, off Wednesday.
Okay.
Work Thursday, Friday. It's hard to keep up with. Sure. I mean, it's a mess.
Well, how do you keep up with it?
I've got a schedule at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got to leave my schedule still today, even 5, 6 months later.
Now, what you normal shift time is?
7 o'clock.
So say if you were going out to the farm 8:30.
Well, then I could have swung that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's safe to say that if you were driving your cruiser out to the farm, you weren't working
Almost definitely.
because you don't leave the city to go out to the farm while you're working, right?
I wouldn't do that.
Okay, so you wouldn't do that. So you wouldn't have been off. That was, remember that was the same day that he was up here being interviewed. That would have been Wednesday. If he was up here interviewed, you had phone conversations with him before he came up here. He told you he was coming up here, and then after a couple hours, you called, checked on him, told him to protect himself, whatever it was, the conversation that you had. And then after that phone call, within 2 hours, both of y'all were driving to the farm on the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we know all that. There's no debate about that. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to know is why y'all both went down to the farm. Because I know it's going to be hard for you to remember a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember a week ago if I'm thinking about the conversation I had with my brother and something like this going on. This doesn't go on all the time. So I mean, we're going to call it like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Is it you don't want to remember or can you remember?
I can't remember.
Okay. Because this is what's happened. You made a phone call. He was up here within 2 hours of him leaving here. Both of y'all were on the road on the way to the farm, and the camera shows that.
Mm-hmm.
Time and date stamp. Phone call. Time and date stamp. You're out there. What went on while you're out there at the farm?
Yeah, if I knew, I'd tell you. I mean, I wish I could give you a detailed written statement. I don't know.
Just kind of jump back to the cruiser here for a minute. Is there any reason that there be any blood in the trunk of your cruiser?
No reason at all.
So you don't transport any biological evidence on a regular basis? When was the last scene that you had somebody that was bleeding?
I just have to say, Farkey, you are so much better than me. I've never really done anything deserved to really, well, I'll just come out with, I've been to jail one time, but it was during a domestic violence situation where I was, long story short, everybody went to jail, and that's okay. I learned my lesson on that. I just make sure to distance myself from violence a lot. But anywho, yeah, I don't know that I would turn myself in like that. But that speaks volumes about you, honey. It really does. In a good way. In a good way.
She's maybe a wreck or something like that. That's been a long time ago.
I mean,
There's no blood in front of my cruiser. I can guarantee you that.
Now, what about on anything that was in your trunk? Would there have been blood on anything that was in your trunk?
There's no way. Absolutely none.
Now, what about the blanket that was in your trunk?
No way.
And you picked up that blanket when?
Don't know exactly. It was
Estimate.
2, 3, 4 days after, they filed a missing person report.
Okay, so a couple days after they filed the missing persons report is when you picked up that blanket, used it to haul the stuff, and put it back into your cruiser.
I know when the Gabby Petito thing was going on, a lot of that come up about Brian Laundrie's parents and how far they were going to protect their son and so forth, and people, there was arguments, there was one side of people, how far do you go for your kids? And the other side, you go all the way. They would cover for them. They understood. It was crazy to me because, Callie, I agree with you. At what cost? Your soul? Like if your kid, if they committed a crime, yeah, they have to pay for it. Does that mean that you have to, remove them from your lives? No. You hire them the best attorney you can, and you make sure that they are afforded all their rights under the law. But no, you can't cover for nobody. You can't do that.
I think so.
So that would have been, how many days do you think the blanket was in your cruiser truck before Thursday when they took your cruiser?
And I hate to even put a number on it. I mean, I really don't know.
1, 2, 3, 10? How many?
I'm not even put a number on it. Like I can't,
But do you know for a fact it was after they filed a missing person report that you picked the blanket
I
up?
don't even know that for a fact.
Well, when did you move the furniture?
I've got a dozen rental properties. I've been moving stuff out of, the garage over there for 2 or 3 weeks now. I've got
the garage where?
104 Glenview Drive.
How long have you been out of 104 Glenview? You said you're
Just a few days.
okay. Was there a certain day you had to be out of there by?
Mm-hmm.
What was that date?
July the. I was exactly.
Who gave you the date to get out?
The guy that bought it.
Okay, so there's paperwork that shows he takes possession of it on a certain day.
Mm-hmm.
How many days before that did you move that furniture out? We can reference that.
What furniture got now? Just all my furniture.
Whatever you use the blanket for.
I would say a few days before.
So if you use 2, maybe. Is that what you would term
That's
that?
what I would guesstimate.
Okay, so say you had to be out by July 9th, then a few days before that, or something like that.
It sounds good to me. I mean, I really don't know.
What was the guy's name that bought the property?
Mike Ballard.
Mike Ballard. Is there paperwork on that? Did you go to a realtor?
No, I sold it for sale by owner.
Okay. And did you do a contract or did you do a deed transfer?
Yeah, we did a contract on it.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the contract somewhere?
I did somewhere.
So that'll be somewhere we can reference.
Oh, yeah. Did you tell anybody that you were even the 8th year with your girlfriend all night and you didn't go anywhere?
Did I tell somebody I was taking my girlfriend all night?
That you were home with your girlfriend all night on the evening of July the 8th, didn't go anywhere?
Last Wednesday, no?
I don't remember that.
Okay.
Who have you talked to about this so far? I mean, obviously we're talking right now.
Just the people in the grand jury.
That's the only other person you talked to about this investigation is the grand jurors, and that's 3 people in this room.
Yeah. Very little, chief. I mean,
Did you talk about it with your girlfriend?
very little. I mean, like I said, we didn't really hang out for Christmas or anything, so I haven't went into any detail with it.
Well, I mean, I know the typical woman is going to ask 10 million questions around something big that you were. I mean, we're both married. We know how our wives are. What about this? What about this? What about that?
Amber's really not like that.
Not like that.
Did you talk to any of the other officers here? I mean, y'all are obviously all.
I've been off work. He just put me on paid leave or it's kind of administrative.
I mean, did he tell you not to talk to anybody about the investigation, or is it just, do you not socialize with a lot of people from work outside of work, or?
No, I don't see a lot of them at work.
I know, with us, the guys that we work with, we're talking on the phone all the time. We're real social with each other. So it's just not the case here.
I haven't talked to anybody about it.
But just in general, I mean, are you social with the guys you work with, like Jason Ellis? Did you talk to him a lot?
Oh,
Work with him?
Well, yeah, I mean, I talk to all the guys, but I mean, it's not like we hang out on weekends together or anything like that, so.
But when you're here at work, you talk about
Oh,
stuff.
most definitely.
Any of the officers or anybody come and approach you and ask you questions about the case? Knowing that you're kind of close to the family.
They haven't asked.
And you haven't talked to your brother about this case?
I haven't. It was very little to nothing.
So I mean, how did the conversation go when he said?
I'm calling bullshit on that. I mean, no. If you are in law enforcement and something like this is going on, of course they talked about it. That's not even believable. See, Nick's slick, but he's not even believable at this point.
He called you and said, "I'm on my way up here to the PD to be interviewed."
I can't remember how they stated it. He just, I guess, just said they were going to interview him. And that may have been like he said.
Did he seem nervous? Was he scared? Was he asking for advice? Was he confiding in you? Like, what was he?
Brooks, Brooks.
I mean, if you don't talk that much generally, and your brother calls you, there's got to be some reason he's calling you.
You know, I mean, he calls me from time to time. It's not like we just completely ignore one another, but we don't just hang out all the time.
But if he called you, that day, what did he say?
I have no idea.
And you're the only one that was on the phone line with him that time, right? Just you and him. No, there wasn't anybody else. It wasn't a three-way call. It was his phone calling you, and you can't remember anything that was said at all. He didn't say, "Hey, is there something I should do? You know, should I wear a nice shirt? Should
Brooks got
should I fix my hair? That kind of thing."
Brooks, he's just kind of construction worker. He's come right on in here. I mean, he's not like that.
But I mean, he obviously knows that you know more about police work than what he does.
Well, obviously.
So he's, if you've got a question about how to frame something and it's something he's better at than you, you're going to call him and ask him, right?
Yeah, but Brooks didn't have anything to hide. I mean, he hasn't asked me anything like that. You know, Brooks hadn't changed any.
So he was just saying, "Hey, if you need to get a hold of me, I'm going to be up here at the PD doing an interview."
More or less.
But then you called him back because you were just worried because you had.
Well,
did he say, "I'll call you when I'm done"? Is that what he said?
He didn't say call me when he was done. No, I mean, it's not that I was really worried. Like I said, Brooks is a really cooperative person, and with things spinning like they are, I just wanted to be sure that things were done the right way.
Sure. I mean, I know you may mention one officer here that you think might not be, the most trustworthy person in your words. But is there anything else that goes on around here? I mean, is the whole department like that, or is it just?
I mean, we've got a really good department. I can't knock the department at all.
In the sheriff's department as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys over there.
So I mean, you obviously had some reservations about something because you called him. It was just that one officer. That's the only reason why.
Yeah, exactly. I just
how did you know that Snow was the one interviewed and not one of us?
Well, I just assumed that since he'd been interviewed before that I mean, he was the one handling it. So
I mean, there's other good officers here. What if it was like Kaminsky or somebody else? I mean,
yeah, I don't think I'd been there before about it.
So you knew that Snow was going to be the one interviewing because he told you that Snow called him. Is that what you're saying?
I can't really remember that. He just said he was going to be interviewed. And I guess since Snow had interviewed him before, that I just assumed that he'd be the one doing the interview again. So.
Hang on, let's go check on something real quick. We'll be right back. Okay. All right.
We need to go over a couple things.
Okay. Let's a couple things we can just touch on here. The 10th, which would have been this past Friday.
The day after they came to their car.
Okay.
About 8:30 p.m. that night, Brooks was, Keith Rogers was over Brooks' house getting some clothes for the kids. And he said, Brooks got a call from you, talked for a second, and he hung up the phone and told your mom, "Hey, we got to go over, or Nick needs our help." Do you remember what that was about?
I have no idea.
Okay.
So you didn't call him on Friday and ask him for any kind of help?
I don't recall.
Is there anything that happened on Friday? Do you have water line bust, anything like that you needed help with?
No.
You remember him coming over on Friday, just this past Friday, a couple days ago?
I don't.
You didn't meet with him on that Friday?
I'm not aware of.
Do you remember going over to Brooks' house and unloading some stuff out of your trunk in your mom's car?
I don't know that I've unloaded anything from the prison.
No, you've got neighbors that have, a spot that they can actually see your cars in the driveway, right? Over in that area. Now, a neighbor stated they saw you taking something out of your trunk and placing it in your mom's car.
That didn't happen.
Nothing. I mean, you didn't even take a fire extinguisher out or anything.
Nope.
Okay. Where would the fire extinguisher be if it wasn't in your trunk when they took your car?
Should have been in front of the car.
I don't think it is. I don't think there's a fire extinguisher back there. Nothing would be in your mom's car out of your police cruiser right now if we went and popped it. Well, if we went and looked, if she let us.
Not a thing.
So going back to the Friday night, would there be anything on your phone records of a show call between you and Brooks at 8:30 p.m. on Friday?
Your guess is good. You want to look and check it?
So do you have your phone with you? Okay. Is it home?
It is.
Okay. Would you be willing to let us download it? Put it on cell right?
Just copy the contacts of the phone.
Yeah,
It take an hour or two. I mean, it obviously wouldn't be right this minute. We don't have a cell right here with us.
No, and you don't have a cell phone with you.
Okay.
What kind of phone do you have?
iPhone.
Is it a 4, 5, 6, 6 plus?
I think it's 4 or 5.
Got passcode to it.
Guys, I'm gonna have to step away for about 2 minutes.
About that wide.
That one.
So probably 5 or 4, 5 and 6 use the hot charger. So probably 4, but doesn't have passcode on it.
Going back to the 8th when you called your brother when he was up here interviewing, what was the tone of that conversation? Was it just kind of like what we're talking here, real calm, collected?
No, I mean, I probably raised my voice a little bit. I mean, I obviously wanted John to know that I called up there. I mean, he's sitting right beside him. I didn't have anything to hide. Like I said, I wanted to be sure things were getting done right. And
sure.
He's been up here for hours and hours. I wanted him to cooperate and everything, but I wanted him to protect himself also.
I mean, if you raised your voice to the point that we could sit there and basically hear word for word on the recording,
Or the audio.
on the audio recording. I mean, that's how much you raise your voice. I mean, that's a little bit more raising your voice. It almost sounded like a shouting match. I mean,
I don't really see it that way, but I mean, I wanted him to listen, you know, I mean.
so that night after you called your brother and told him to leave, or told him to be careful or take care of himself, et cetera. Did you all meet up anywhere?
Not that I recall, I don't think we did.
Well, you talked about the videos out there at the house on the corner of Pasco Valley. That video does show you and your brother going out there arriving at the same time, right behind each other. We got witnesses that said they remember passing both of you on 49. That one right, he was in front, you were behind.
We didn't make a special trip out there together, that's what you're getting at. I mean,
that's just
Just a coincidence that y'all showed up at the same time you got there.
And then y'all were out there till right at 11:22. You start out and stop down the drive, back up, and then you all leave out together.
what's that name you saying? I backed up or?
You started down the drive and stopped, and then back up the hill a little bit, and then I guess I don't know if you're waiting.
Thing about not remembering, that's the only lie he has to remember is that he don't remember. And that's why he always defaults to that, I bet.
Which kind of leads us to the issue with the cruiser here. Okay. We got some issues.
Okay. You're aware that when the cruiser was taken from you, that it was actually taken to the Texas State Police Forensic Central Laboratory.
That's what I assumed, you know, keep that down.
Okay. So why it's at the lab? Have you ever heard of luminol? You ever been in any kind of criminal investigation?
Yeah.
All right, you know what luminol is used for?
To find blood.
Okay. Or other bodily fluids. Okay. So we all excrete bodily fluids, sweat, vomit, anything, saliva, all that is what would fluoresce. Why would your trunk look like a Smurf if they sprayed it? Why would it fluoresce?
It looked like Chernobyl. There's a couple spots in the trunk in that blanket. Just lit up like Chernobyl.
Why would that?
There's not gonna be any blood in the trunk.
Okay, well, I didn't say blood. I'm talking about other bodily fluids.
I don't have blood. There shouldn't be any bodily fluids in the trunk.
I mean, there's only one way bodily fluids can get into a trunk. That's if a body's nearby, right?
That's what I was saying.
Okay. Or unless somebody puked in your trunk or something like that.
I don't think that happened.
I don't think that's the case.
So like a trunk or.
So why would that be if that blanket, when they looked at it at the lab?
I've got no explanation for that. None whatsoever.
Nobody has access to that car but you. You drive it. You put the blanket in there. You said that. If there's something on that blanket or in that car, you're the person that has something to do with it, correct?
I would assume, but I mean, there shouldn't be anything in the back of the car. I mean, I don't know if somebody made that up or what the deal is, but
we're not in the business of making stuff up.
Oh, people always making stuff up,
Find out what happened. It's not to change the course of events as they happen. It's to find out what happened. So we can't change what happened in that trunk. We can't change that the test showed that there's bodily fluids in that trunk area. What we need to do is we need to find out why that's the case.
You see where we're coming from now. I mean, we got two of you getting there together. You say it's coincidence. Two of you leaving together. The next day, your cruiser is found with this, the stuff in the trunk and it's taken to the lab. It's got bodily fluid in it.
I mean, I wish I knew what to tell you guys. You guys just gotta test that and let me know when you find out. There's no reason anything should be in the trunk of the car.
Did your brother ever call you and say that he'd done something to Chris?
No, we did not.
Because here's the case. Case is, you're a police officer, we're police officers. We all know how this job works. I don't believe in coincidence after having this job. I don't know if you still do or not.
Not much.
I don't, because you know that when somebody is sitting here talking to us and telling us that everything's a coincidence and we have either physical evidence or video or something to prove that that's not the fact, we kind of stop believing in coincidence. Now, that's the case of where we're at right here. There's too much linking you and him leaving when he leaves the police department, going down the road, both arriving together, both leaving together. There is some reason why you all went out to that farm. Now, I'm not a big fan of amnesia either, because I've heard that 20 or 30 times a week when I'm talking to people. So I don't believe people just lose their memory. I think people forget what they don't want to talk about. They hide those things. And sometimes it's a good person that does that because they're trying to protect their family or they're trying to protect themselves. But you know what? There's also bad people in this world. And those bad people intentionally lie and intentionally use those excuses, to make it harder for the police to find out what really happened, because they're deep down, they're just a bad person.
Oh, I agree with you 100%.
So I don't think that we're dealing with a type of person here that's a bad person. I think we're dealing with somebody like you that's coming forward and trying to be cooperative. But then again, I think you're somebody that would protect your family in a case like this. And if your family told you something, that you would try to protect them to the best of your ability, especially since you're a police officer. Okay?
She's got kids. I mean, there's no way that I would cover this up for him.
Okay, well,
but we also have to take it. We all have family. We know how family bonds run. I mean, family's family. You got your work family, then you got your real family. There's things that the people have done in the name of family that have been in positions that you would just kind of scratch your head and think, well, why would they do that? But it's all out of love. For the family. Your brothers, you grew up together, you probably rolling around on the ground together, knocking each other's heads off. Yeah. I mean, I've got a brother. That's what we did growing up. We kept trying to beat the fire out of each other. Yeah. But at the same point, we're at a point here, like you said, coincidences. We throw them out the window. Not knowing exactly what time you sat down to eat dinner yesterday, that's one thing. Not remembering
that you ate dinner
at all. That's another.
That's a different thing.
Yeah. And then you add that on top of the biological evidence that's been located in the trunk.
That's
what charms me right there. I mean, I just can't believe that.
Well, we're not asking you hard questions here as far as. I'm not asking you, did you pull in at 7:22 p.m. on the other night? No. I'm asking you, hey, last week, on Wednesday, a week from today, do you remember going out to the farm? Do you remember arriving with your brother? Do you remember leaving with your brother? What did you do while you were out there? Those are hard questions.
And I don't remember that. I mean, I don't.
I mean, is it just such a routine that you go out there and just arrive at the same time? And
We both go out there a lot, you know, I mean, it is a place we hang out, you know, quite frequently,
Sure.
and you told us that, and we believe that.
Mhm.
But we're asking you specific days a week ago, okay? That was, have you been out to the farm since then, or is that the last time you've been out to the farm?
Since the 8th?
Since, yes, a week ago last Wednesday.
I'm sure I've been out there since then.
Okay, have you and your brother both met out there since
No.
last? Okay, so we're asking you about the last time that you and your brother met at the farm. All right, we're not asking you for specifics about it. We're just asking if you remember both arriving there, what you did while you were there, and when you left, and why you were
I
there.
don't. I really don't.
We're trying to make it as easy as we can for you as far as asking you questions.
because from our perspective, I mean, we're not talking about just, coincidence y'all showing up at the same time. I mean, your brother's subject of a police investigation right now that's made national news.
I'm telling you, if my brother was under the microscope right now, I would remember everything that he did, everything that we talked about, everything that we
Sometimes
did.
I can't remember what happened 2 days ago, you know, I mean,
And-
I'm being 100% honest with you.
And I understand that, but being a police officer, we kind of have to remember things.
If you didn't write it down, if you didn't, remember, it didn't happen, right?
Well, I write everything down. If you look at my notes, I mean, it's all written down. I've got it. When I go to the report, I mean, I've got the report right in front of me, you know.
Sure.
But sometimes, I can do what I did 2 days ago.
But work is one thing, your family's another. If something happened that was close to my family, if something happened where I was affected by it, because you're affected by this, whether or not you think you are,
Oh,
you are.
right.
I mean, you're wrapped up in this. Even if there's no indication of anything else, your name is the same as his, right?
I agree with
Okay, and you do police work, right?
Yes.
And this is a police investigation. So there ain't no way you're gonna be able to stay out of this completely, right?
No.
Okay, so you ought to be thinking in your head, how am I gonna save face with the guys I work with? How am I gonna, explain this to my family? You've gotta have those things going through your head. If you're a normal functioning person like we all are, then it's natural for us to feel that way. It's natural for us to be inquisitive, especially as police officers. We always want to know what's going on. We're like the neighborhood watch 24/7, right? I mean, that's the way we are. Now, I just can't expect that you would forget all those details, being as you're a police officer and sitting here talking to you and seeing how you interact with people. I just find that
That's
very
kind of
hard.
what I was
I'm sorry,
thinking. A
I'm
police
sorry,
officer should have a better memory than this.
I mean, it's just, that's it. I mean,
A month ago, I would expect you not to remember something, but a week ago, with all this national media attention and all these questions probably being asked by people out here on the street and all these rumor mills going around, I would expect you to remember that.
but at the same time, I mean, he hadn't really came to me, I mean,
You talked to him that day. He called you.
I'm sure we talked briefly, but like I said, I mean, we haven't really discussed anything, so therefore I don't have a lot of details to give you.
But we're not asking you details about necessarily what he did more than details about what you did. With details about you going to the farm and him being there, okay, and you all leaving, hence you being there and you leaving.
We would expect, just going back to this time, y'all arriving at the farm at 8:11 p.m. I mean, I know it's getting to be summertime, but, that doesn't leave you a whole lot of daylight for fishing or tooling around, and it can start about 9 o'clock.
9:30.
So, but you're there till 11, almost 11:30.
Yeah, but I mean, with all this going on, I mean, it's like I say, it's just like go out there and get your trip.
Well, what did you do to get rid of stress? I mean, what did you do to get rid of stress?
Y'all shoot some clay pigeons or something, or?
No, I mean, like I told you before, I mean, I'll go out there, I ride the four-wheeler religiously. I'll go to the lake and like the last hour before it gets dark, that's about the best time to go.
Can we just say that we bet Nick Houck was a useless cop, probably? I mean, he couldn't remember anything. He doesn't know what went on. He just minds his own business. I mean, that sounds nothing that would make a good officer to me.
Time to go fishing, sure. So, I mean, I understand y'all's perspective, but you got it wrong. They say, oh, I know you're doing your job, and I'm not, I don't hold it against you. Do what you need to do. But
Is there any reason that her DNA can come back in your trunk?
I'm 100% certain it won't. You're dead in the water. No way.
What about on that blanket?
No way.
Any hairs, fibers?
No
anything
way.
like that?
No way.
Never took anything out of your trunk, is what you're saying.
I didn't.
So if we had somebody who had seen you do that, seen you take stuff out of your trunk and put it in your
Nobody's fucking stuff up.
the coincidence of you all both arriving there at the same time, not having any kind of conversation, can't remember anything that you talked about, anything that you did at the farm, and then leaving at the exact same time.
Okay, it was coincidence. I mean, I know it sounds fishy, but it's
But,
the way it is.
I mean, you can appreciate how.
I can't.
I mean,
this isn't our first rodeo, and I'm sure this isn't your first time dealing with a criminal investigation, so you kind of know what to expect. So I would even expect you to hold this to a higher standard and say, man, this is gonna, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't match up.
It's a weird case.
I mean, it is a very odd case, and we're like I said, we're sitting here with, it still remains that we understand that you may not remember every single time you've been out at the farm or what you do. We all have habits, like I said, you're at the four-wheeler religiously, and fishing right before dark's the best time to go. Yeah, I understand that completely, but something's just not adding up here. 1 + 1 always equals 2. And you look at the fact that you call him and you raise your voice to him, like you said, to tell him that he needs to be careful.
I'm big brother. I'm gonna try to protect him. At the same time, I mean, I'm not gonna cover something like this up for him. I'm just not that kind of guy. And furthermore, I mean, there's no way he had anything to do with this. If something has happened to her, it wasn't because something he did. Again, I know you guys got a job to do. I mean, do it, but I mean, you're wasting time.
Well, who else would be responsible for this?
I mean, I don't have any names to give. If I did,
What do you think? What do you think happened?
I mean, she's a nice looking woman. I don't know if she got out there on the Bluegrass Parkway and somebody had done to her. I don't know what happened, but I know Brooks didn't have anything to do with it. I just feel 100% certain. I mean,
But he's never denied it to you.
No. I mean, I've never asked him. I just don't feel like I know Brooks well enough that, I know he would never do this. I'm not going to question him about it.
So you've never even asked him that. You've never said, "Hey, did you have anything to do with this? Tell me you didn't have anything to do with this."
No, I've never asked him that.
Never said that.
He's 100% certain, but he's never asked him. Y'all, I have some good siblings. They're really good people. But I would never say that I 100% knew that someone else did or didn't do something. There's no way somebody can say that.
No.
Well, you say you ride the four-wheeler religiously. How often do you say you go out there?
I mean, I'm out there 2, 3, 4 times a week. I mean,
how come the cameras don't show you there a couple weeks, the 2-week period before last week?
I'm not saying I go there every week, but I'm just saying
religiously means every week, 2 to 3 times.
Yeah, but I'm just saying on average, I'm probably out there a good 2, 3, 4 times a week.
But you weren't for the 2 weeks before.
That doesn't make sense. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know what it should be on camera. If you go back and look at the camera, do what you need to do. I mean, you say there was a 3-week period I've never been out there?
2 weeks before.
I don't believe that.
Before this last week.
I don't believe that.
Like since before the 3rd.
That's not accurate.
But you remember going out there then, but you can't remember.
Well, I just feel like I'm 99% certain that there wouldn't be a 2 or 3 week gap between going out there. I don't necessarily remember going out there, but there's no way that I went 3 weeks without going to the farm. No way.
So you say you went out to the farm on the 8th. You and your brother didn't have any contact that you remember. You just went and did your own thing. You got there at the same time, left the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember anything that he said or anything. We just kind of passed and rolled on.
He had anybody with him?
I had not that I recall.
Did anybody else see you all both out there other than the camera at the house?
I don't think so.
Because you told somebody, I think, at one point that you remember being out there that night and you and Brooks sitting there talking with your mom.
I don't remember that. I mean,
so you're saying that the biological fluids they found in the car.
Are you for certain biological fluids?
Yes, I'm absolutely certain that
they wouldn't cut holes.
Nick, they're 100% certain that they found biological clues. No, but did you guys catch that he said 99% certain that he didn't spend 2 or 3 weeks away from the farm? So that's himself, and he's only 99% sure about himself, but he's 100% sure about his brother. That tells a lot. Yeah, he did tell them that he understood they had a job to do, but they were wasting their time because he's that cocky.
In your trunk liner and take it for further testing if it was biological.
When you get that car back and see that car, it's going to have stuff cut out all over it.
And that blanket with electric hole.
That blanket right in the back. Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no way. None of her biological fluids or anything's going to be on it like anything. I don't know where the stuff came from if it is there, but it's not hers.
So you never helped him move a body?
I did not.
Never helped him move any evidence?
Never.
Because, I mean, here's what we think happened. We think that your brother is a good guy, and we think that he's probably a pretty good father to that boy. I mean, he's probably a pretty good boyfriend to Crystal, but we all have times where something just happens. All right, he probably found out that some other police officer or some other person in the town was cracking Crystal. And that very easily could happen. And that very easily could happen. Somebody maybe around here, I don't know. But we think that that's what happened. And your brother found out about it and confronted Crystal about it. And when he did, he probably tried to maybe do something to her as far as making her understand that wasn't going to fly with him. And then after that point, maybe it went just a little bit too far. And when it went just a little bit too far, he couldn't turn back time. And when he couldn't turn back time, who's he going to reach out to? But the one person that he trusts and knows that would help him out, and that would be you. And when he called you or he reached out to you, you heard that your brother was in a tough spot, and you being the good family man that you are, the good person that you are, you thought, well, I know this is wrong, but it's also right to take care of my brother and to keep him from going to prison.
I didn't see you look the way, and there's no way at that point. I mean, I would have told you that,
well, at that point, Nick, you talk to him and he asked you to do something for him, and you try to help him out with advice all that you can, but it finally comes to a point where advice isn't good enough anymore. He actually needed somebody to help him with something. And at that point, Nick, that's when you had to actually do something that you're ashamed of and you're not proud of, and you blocked it from your memory because you are ashamed of that. And because you're a good person, you actually have feelings, you block that out in your head. When you block that out in your head, that's why you're having a problem remembering this stuff. But I know, and Detective on here knows that something like that happened, and that's exactly what we think happened in this situation. And Nick, this is the time we're in this place.
Let's have one chance.
And Nick, if we find out that this stuff comes back in your trunk, or if we find a body, if a hunter finds that body pretty soon, assuming that they do, it's going to be a different game. It's going to be a different ball game at that point. Okay, this right now is the first inning. Once we find that out, that's closer to the ninth. We got less time to make up ground and change what's on the scoreboard, because the scoreboard is going to be the same as it would be in the ninth inning, as it would be in the top of the bottom. It's not going to be what it was in the first. All right, we can change the score right now, but we can't later. So Nick, this is the only opportunity that we have to sit here and find out if you're the actual honest person we think that you are.
I'm 100% honest.
And I don't deny that, Nick, but you're not being honest with us about this, okay?
I'm 100% honest. Well, Ben, it's obvious you've got plenty of experience. I mean, you guys are squared away, but I can tell you, there's no way it happened the way you said it. It sounds logical.
It's very logical,
Yeah,
because it's what happened.
But no, it didn't happen that way. It didn't.
How do you know it didn't happen?
You know, Nick, you can't remember what happened.
Well, he's saying Brooks did it, and I was in on it. I mean, there's no way.
But were you there? Were you able to say that Brooks didn't do it?
No, but I know him well enough to know that.
I know lots of people, okay? I know troopers that I've worked with for my entire career, and guess what? They're not troopers anymore. And I thought I could say that about it. And I thought I could say that, because you know what? We're all people, no matter what this is, no matter what we go to church and say on Sunday, no matter what that we appear like, everybody is a person, and every person can change in a heartbeat. Whether they choose to or not, sometimes things just happen, we make mistakes.
I have made any mistakes, and I have been 100% honest.
Well, Nick, I don't disagree that, you know, you hadn't made any mistakes in your career maybe, but in this, there's been some mistakes made.
Yeah, they've gave him plenty of chances to come clean.
When we start thinking of this goes out the window. Logic goes out the window.
Man, all I can tell you is, I mean, Brooks is a good guy. He didn't have anything to do with this. You know, obviously, you know, I'm hoping for the best, expecting the worst. I'm a police officer. I hope she walks in his front door anytime, but at the same time, I mean, she's been gone for a while. She hadn't made contact with kids.
Well, you guys, it's national media attention. We know that she's not just out walking around in public somewhere because somebody would call us. All right, it's been all over the news.
She was saying, at least call here and say, hey, I'm okay.
She wouldn't have any way to get money. She wouldn't have any way to call anybody. Okay, so the assumption of what you're talking about, assuming the worst, I think we can say that's logical to think right
If she had a flat tire, she would use her cell phone.
and call somebody. Her cell phone,
It makes sense.
her cell phone's dead out there. There's nobody calling fast for help. You know, she didn't call. Now, Crystal's not the type of person, from what I know of her, and I've done a lot of background, she's not the type of person that's going to get out, get the spare tire out, get the jack out, change the tire, and nothing be out there on the scene. You know, but
Yeah, I don't think she would change the tire either.
She would have called somebody. Okay, she would have called her boyfriend. She would have called her mom, dad. She would have called the police, called 911. I don't know. Maybe he would have called you. I don't know. But she would have called somebody.
And you know,
she didn't do that. She didn't do that.
You know what we do? Bluegrass is not very heavily traveled at that time of night. After 10 o'clock, you might see a car every minute or two.
Yeah. Man, I can appreciate the job you guys are doing. I mean, I'm not, you know,
but
I mean,
we're not just doing a job though, Nick. We're trying to find out for that the 4 kids. She got 4 kids, right? Four, five. Okay. She's got 5 kids. We're trying to find out for them because it's not fair for them to not know what happened to their mom. And that's why we're here. We're not here to get anybody in trouble. I mean, that's part of our job. We got to arrest people. We got to put them in jail. But our main job, or what I come to work for, is to solve these crimes, to give people answers. All right. And I'm not going to waste my time on something that's not worth it. So I wouldn't be here talking to you, Nick, if I thought this was a waste of time. And when you said it's a waste of time, you know, I don't think you understand that.
I think the time
this is not a waste of time.
I think the time would be better spent somewhere else. I mean,
That's all. We're at.
I think the time would be better spent right here if we just all started telling the truth. You know,
I know I'm telling the truth. Are you telling the truth?
I'm telling the truth.
Okay.
But what I need you to do is I need you to remember those things that you say that you can't remember. Okay. Whether it's damning towards your brother, whether it's damning towards somebody else, there's a reason why those aren't coming forward. Okay. There is a reason.
There is a reason. You know what it is?
Well, if you can't remember it, I mean,
that's it.
That's not a very good reason.
Well,
you know that. You know that in your heart. You know that's.
It may not be a good reason, but it's the truth.
Well, it's not a good reason.
Okay.
And we're thinking of reason and logic in this room. You've already mentioned it twice. Yes, that's logical. Yes, that makes sense. All right. Those are the kind of things that we use as investigators, right?
All right. And then you added the addition of the dog indicating on your car. Let's take it to the lab. Biological fluids are found in the trunk of your car where there shouldn't be anything.
There shouldn't be. There's not going to be. There shouldn't be. There's not.
Well, there is. I mean, there's no dispute that there is biological fluid in the trunk of your car.
The dog wouldn't hit on the quarter panel of the trunk if there wouldn't have been something in there. We wouldn't have sent it to the lab if the dog didn't hit on it. The lab would have tested and sprayed luminol and it came back looking like a Smurf if there wasn't something there. There's, you know, if just the dog hit on it, maybe the dog had something up its nose that day, okay? But when you take it and you put it and you spray it at the lab, you know, that's 2 different things that are verified there's something.
And the guy that had the car before you was an E-free. I mean, it's probably spotless when you got it on it.
But, you know, I mean, the other thing, you know, when speaking about logic, I mean, who would do this on a city maintained cruiser? Well, you know, I mean, who would do that?
What better way to go undetected?
I disagree, man. I just disagree with that.
What better way to go undetected? Who's going to stop a police car?
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm the bluegrass.
no one's going to do
Who's
that.
going to stop a truck that's been followed by a police car? Nobody.
Who's going to think anything if they see a police car on the side of the road?
I guess there's flip sides to everything.
But who's going to think of anything if they see a police car on the side of the Bluegrass Parkway behind the car with a flat tire? You know, drop the car off on the interstate. Nobody's going to think anything of there. Like,
You're right. I can't deny it, you know, but you're wrong. I mean,
well, you tell me that you're telling the truth, and that's what you're maintaining, right? And you're telling me you want to be cooperative. That's why you're here, right?
Yes.
Okay. What about taking a polygraph exam? You took one to become a police officer. I took one to become a police officer. Didn't you take one?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we know that your brother went up there and took a polygraph. Okay. He didn't fail the polygraph. All right. We didn't say he failed the polygraph. They said that the polygraph was inconclusive, which means it's neither pass nor fail. Right. Okay. So if they can't get 100% accurate reading, they're not going to make a judgment on it, right? Because they're being fair. All right. Inconclusive doesn't mean anything. It just means inconclusive.
It's like fucking 2 cars. If you can't tell which one was the one you're getting ready to write a ticket for, you're not going to write it.
Yeah. You don't pull
I'm
not 100% sure.
I don't mind to take the polygraph. I mean, I really don't.
So you take polygraph and say the exact same thing if I ask you on the polygraph. If they said, Nick, did you have any involvement with the disappearance?
I'd say no, because I didn't.
Okay. And if they said, Nick, did you have any knowledge of her disappearance? What would you say?
No.
Okay. Now, if they ask ask you, did you load that body up into the trunk of your Barstow City Cruiser?
No.
Okay, so pretty easy test, wouldn't it be?
Sounds like it.
Okay, you be willing to do that?
How'd you do on it? How would you do on it?
I think I'll pass it flying colors. I've got nothing to hide.
How about anybody else? I mean, did Crystal, you think Crystal would have known something that she shouldn't have known, and that's probably why she went missing? If you don't believe the story about him getting, maybe a little physical with her maybe one time, you think she could have known something?
What's that? Back up with that. I'm not following.
Okay. Well, you said you don't believe the story that he maybe got a little physical with her.
No, I don't think it was ever physical.
Now, what about Brooks? He's got a lot to lose. I mean, he's got a pretty nice life, it seems like. I mean, he's doing pretty well for himself. What if she had some information that would turn his life upside down?
Yeah, I mean, he was still, no matter what she had, he wouldn't have done anything like this.
Or what if she had information on somebody like you or somebody else? What would you say about that?
I don't know where you're going with information. What kind of
What if she knew something about you that you didn't want anybody else in the world to know?
Uh,
or anybody, not just you. I mean,
and if she did what we asked,
do you think that might have been what happened? I mean, is that more logical than him getting a physical altercation with her? What's more logical?
I mean, did she hop off and say, I know you're dirty, you're doing this and this to these tenants, or you're doing X, Y, and Z to this, and he just, and just,
He ever say anything like that to you?
No.
He never mentioned anything about her making stuff up about it?
No.
Telling her friends anything?
so obviously we found out that it's not a logical explanation in your mind.
I don't think so.
And like him, I agree. I think what happened is it was something heat of the moment. We all get in the heat of the moment, and just shit happens.
Mm-hmm.
Shit happens that we can't take back, that we wish we could.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I know nothing like that happened. I mean, you got to kind of go over the same stuff. I mean, if I could help you in any way with the investigation, I would. I mean, I'm just that kind of guy. She's got kids. There's no way that I could deal with something like that and just cover it up.
What about Brooks? What about him?
What about it?
Is he that type of person, or is he
I
a
think,
person that could? I mean, everybody's different.
there's no way he could do something like that. He's not capable of it.
Would he be capable of asking somebody else to do something like that?
Brooks ain't gonna hire that out. I mean, there's just no way he had anything to do with it.
What about he rents a lot of property. I'm sure he rents to some shady people.
Oh, I bet he does.
Ever found any indoor grows or anything in any of his properties?
No, not that I'm aware of.
You know they do that around here a lot.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Net labs, anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, Nelson County's full of dope. I mean,
Any chance that he'd be involved in something like that?
no way. Bruce didn't fool any kind of drugs he doesn't drink. No way.
I mean, there's certain people that are involved in that kind of stuff that aren't involved in it
Yeah.
themselves. They're in it for the money.
Yeah, but he's not. I mean, he makes money.
What do you think should happen to somebody, say they killed somebody in the heat of the moment? Just kind of, they didn't really mean to.
I think they're just as guilty as somebody that killed him anyway. I don't have any patience for that kind of crap. I mean, she's got kids and stuff, and I mean, anybody that could have anything to do with their disappearance, possibly kill somebody, they need to be dealt with.
What about somebody that comes in after the fact that didn't have anything to do with the killing or the disappearance? And
I think they're just as guilty.
do you think any of them should be given a second chance?
No, I don't believe in taking chances. I'm a pretty conservative guy. You don't want a lot of issues, and I mean, anybody to do anything like that, just we don't need them here on Earth.
So if Brooks did do this, you feel the same way?
Most definitely.
If Brooks did it, he'd be dead to you.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have nothing to do with him. I mean, anybody that's despicable and just disregard the kids, and I mean, that's a pretty nasty person.
Even if there was a reason, if that person thought they had a reason.
I can't think of one reason in my head to justify something like that.
If somebody, we obviously have to go through our lives thinking different than other people. As police officers, we know we might kill somebody every day we come to work. But that's only if somebody's going to try to kill us first.
Exactly. And that's obviously something I'm saying.
That's a difference. Okay. But having that same mentality, did Crystal and him ever had any problems maybe where she could have done something to him where he had to defend himself? And then
I don't really know of any instance like that, or the instance y'all brought up about her seeing some other dude. I mean, I really
I can say fairly sure, certainly that she was seeing other people.
She may have. I mean, I didn't really know that well. I can't tell you you're wrong.
And your brother, has he ever been known to run around on girls?
I don't think he's ever ran around with her. I can't say that he's never cheated on a girlfriend, but I
Well,
mean,
your brothers, you probably seen some things or heard some things in the past, but as far as Crystal, he wasn't running around on her.
no.
Well, why weren't they married? Why didn't they get married? You ever talk about married her?
Well, I mean, as far as I know, she was married to was it Keith Rogers or whoever it was. I mean,
And
I think they, at one time they were talking about trying to get her divorced from him, but as far as either one of them running around, I don't believe that's the case. That's what I believe. But like I said, I wasn't around her a lot. I can't tell you that you're wrong.
Well, when could you take the polygraph exam?
I'll be off the next few days, so I mean,
If we got one set up for tomorrow, or got one, well, it's kind of late now, setting one up tomorrow, but maybe if we got one set up for the next couple of days, would that be something that you
why
could do?
don't we just shoot for Monday?
Well, what if they're,
What is today?
today is Wednesday, so we got Thursday and Friday still before they close down for the weekend.
Okay.
it all depends on their availability.
Yeah, I mean,
I
they might have,
got a lot of stuff going on. I just moved and everything. Let's just try to shoot for Monday. If that'll make you guys happy, then I'll be more than glad to do it. I don't have a problem with it.
the thing about it is, we go up there and take the test. You're telling us that you're being honest.
Yes,
Right?
100%.
You're 100% on that.
Mhm.
And you know that I've sat here and talked to people in that same seat that you're in right now that tell me they're being 100% honest, and later on I find out they're not. Okay, is that fair assessment?
Most definitely.
Okay, so you sitting in the chair that I'm sitting in right here, and somebody sitting there in your chair telling you that same thing.
I'm skeptical as you are. I'm probably more skeptical.
The polygraph is something that can help us. It's a tool. We don't use it in court, but it's a tool.
Yeah.
All right.
Just like that makes you figure whatever does it for you. It'll be fine.
But agreeing to do that now, you're not going to change your mind later.
No,
You're going to be a man of your word, and you're going to take
You
polygraph
got
that
it.
we said.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thanks, mate.
All right.
You want anything to drink? No, just be wrapping it up though, because I'm fixing to get out. Okay.
Okay, well, there's the end of that interview. And I really wanted to listen to the examiner's interview, to Nick's polygraph results, but I'm going to have to play with the toddler. He's allowed me so much time on here, and he's ready to play, so I'm going to go play with him. I hope everyone has a great rest of your morning, or that you rest well if this is your night. And I will see you guys probably around the same time tomorrow, because it seems like this is going to be his schedule for a while. FarQ, Kelly Dime, Rebel City, you guys, I always appreciate you guys being in chat, and it was good to see you all tonight and chat with you. Take care of yourselves, FarQ. Stay safe in the storms, honey, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.